Uh, uh, so, how we feeling after last night?
Dude, I feel like we did the 12-hour shift again. Like that's how shit
We only did three
without the
hours.
alcohol.
It was only three
Yeah.
hours of just calling ball, man. That was it.
No,
A lot happened. A lot
that that
happened.
was that was 4 hours.
That
When they
was
finally scored when they finally scored the game winning touchdown, it was pretty damn close to midnight.
Yeah, it was. We stayed on the air a little bit more. So yeah, all right, it was closer to 4 hours because we
Yeah.
had like a 20-minute conversation with our chat participants, which was
Yeah.
fun. If you want to join us, you could do that. No defense, shootout, which we kind of listen after the first two drives, we kind of looked at each other and said, "This has got a feeling of a shootout." It's already got
Yeah.
that. And sure enough, it was a shoot. Oh, well, cops are coming for us. Oh my God, here they come. Uh, yeah, why is it so loud?
Wow. See that one I could hear.
Yeah, here's the thing. The problem is, like, I live right next to the ambulance dispatch.
Yeah.
So when they decide to, when it's like, oh, we got to go somewhere, it's like right outside. So can't even watch a movie. It's like, oh, Jesus. Thanks a lot, guys. Ruining the whole mood here. You're ruining the aesthetic. Can't you wait until you're past my block to turn the sirens on? If that person is in a medical emergency, that they're not going to notice, okay? I'm watching a movie here. It's terrible. I'm a terrible person. Jimbo, I've come to the conclusion that I might just be a terrible person. And welcome to the Friday Forecast, everybody. I'm your boy King. That's your good friend Jimbo right over there. And boy, are we recovering from what was one hell of a Thursday night game. Probably the best Thursday night game we've had in at least a couple years, it feels like.
Yeah, definitely.
No defense showed up, so as far as quality of play, maybe not the best, but as far as excitement and fun, that was a hell of a game. We both picked the Buccaneers.
Which they should have won according to a lot of people.
And they should have. They had the fumble they lost. They had, and listen, they can sit there and try and blame the face mask and everything like that. As somebody who saw his team get flagged for a face mask when they had the face mask committed against them, I have no sympathy for. Man, what is up with the sirens today? I swear to Christ, I didn't do anything. Leave me alone. Just trying to live my life and make football picks. So I have no sympathy about that, and you had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to close that game out if you're the Buccaneers, and you didn't do it. And that game had a feeling of whoever had the ball last would win. And Falcons got the coin flip, so there it was. That was it. That was all she asked for. But hell of a game. The fans certainly thought so. They just decided to, in the middle of swag surfing, somebody swag surfed a little too hard, I think. So someone was surfing on my wave. And if we know anything, especially from Soundgarden, you best stay off my wave if you're swag surfing. And, oh boy, there were some haymakers there at the Butthole Dome crowd. That was, if you don't know what video I'm talking about, just go to Twitter. It's there.
It's all there. Over there.
It's all over. It's kind of all over sports there. NFL memes, I think, has jumped on it. I'm sure hey, you're me now. You're me. You're punching the mic. All right. I'm not the only one. So we had a lot of
I was just reenacting what was happening at the Falcons game.
I see what you're doing. I see. All right, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting now. On top of that, last night we had during halftime we were watching the Mets and Brewers game. With a good friend ELS in the chat, who's a big Brewers fan up there in Wisconsin. He's up there in cheese country in Wisconsin, and funnily enough, big fan of the Brewers. Doesn't drink.
Yeah,
seems counterintuitive, but boy, just when you think like they're up 2-0, you think they got it, and then Pete Alonso, Mister, got his head in the clouds, according to old Frank the Tank there from Barstool. Who was shitting all over him.
Yeah.
But then, it comes in the clutch. Comes out in the clutch. Mets win. So there was a lot happening last night.
Yeah.
I didn't get a ton of sleep. You didn't get a ton of sleep. We're both kind of tired here. So this might be a quick run through here. We're supposed to be like pick. Good night. But let's see. But speaking of which, let's get to our picks. Let's jump right over here. And here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is, well, of course, we've lost the first pick already there, as you can see. With the Buccaneers and the Falcons, we both picked the Buccaneers. That's not going well. Now, on to things that are yet to come, which is why this is the Friday forecast, of course. So we should probably focus on that. Jets, Vikings, London, 9:30, which I will be doing on this channel. And I've kind of painted myself in the corner because I've been saying I've been doing it for like the last 2 weeks. So I can't just decide to I'm sleeping in on Sunday. I'm like, fuck. Fucked myself on that one. But I will be here watching it along with you if you want to come join us here. Please like, share, subscribe so you know when we're going live with that. Jimbo, Jets, Vikings, who you got?
So I went with the Vikings here. They've been playing really, really well. I have them number one in my power rankings, and I think the other reason why too is I think there's some stuff going on between Saleh and Rodgers. I don't, they could say all the things they want. Oh, there's nothing going on. I think there's a little bit of rift there, and I also think if the Jets lose, it's a guarantee that Adams will be a Jet next week.
Does he help them?
I think it
it's
helps.
hard to. I know it's weird to say, but like if there's already that level of dysfunction, and like there's a problem between Rodgers and Saleh, or there's a problem like that, and you would imagine that probably Rodgers is talking with Devontae. Of course, probably having to do it clandestine because the NFL wants to search your phone and find out that you've been tampering. There's gonna be a problem, but it's just they're two friends, they're two buddies,
Yeah, just talking.
just old two compatriots talking about going to play golf together. You know what I mean? What do you know? But like, I would imagine if there was an issue, at least with like Saleh or what's going on there, is that something that Rodgers would be able to tell him, or is it to the point where he's like, "Come here, fuck him, we don't listen to him. It's you, me, it's Hackett." The old band from Green Bay's back together. We got Lazard here too. Let's run it ourselves. Whatever Saleh and his bald-headed goofy ass wants to say or do, or whatever Instagram quotes he wants to come up with, let him do that. But come on over here, and we'll just run this shit separate of him, which is usually not a great way. That's not very good team chemistry, as it were.
Yeah, but. No, I do. I do think he helps them because if there's dysfunction, what cures that? Winning games. And I think by bringing Adams over, it will also kind of calm Rodgers down a little bit, like bring him back to earth a little bit and win a few games, and no one's going to be talking about any type of dysfunction.
Yeah, but then you have to talk about what happens with Garrett Wilson. He's going to get noisy because all of a sudden now any touches he would get are going to be going to Devontae. So, and he's already kind of had a little bit of the rumblings. So that's the other thing too. Is like we're talking about, oh, well, that'll help smooth things over, but it's not going to smooth it over with everybody. And I think that's maybe one of the pieces of the puzzle that we're not paying attention to right now, which is I think important. I think that's an important piece that we're not thinking about is what happens to Wilson once Devontae Adams comes over. If he does, we're all working on the assumption that he is. We'll see what happens as far as the Jets. I picked the Vikings as well. I want to pick the Jets, and I think the Jets can actually win this game.
Yeah.
But for right now, the way that the Jets have played the last couple of weeks and who their opponents were and who the Vikings have played. Now, granted, they didn't play great in the second half against Green Bay. Let them go all the way back. Only won by 2 after being up 28-0. You got to figure that, in general, they usually have played a little bit better. So I will be going with the Minnesota Vikings on this particular pick. Next one is we got the Panthers and Bears. We're both picking the Panthers here. Not a lot of confidence in the Bears, huh?
No, once again, it's that offensive line. And with Andy Dalton starting for the Panthers, it's a totally different team than what it was with Bryce Young. I'm actually kind of surprised that in our picks here, 89% have the Bears, whereas 11% have the Panthers.
That's crazy. It's the same on ESPN too. When I saw some other YouTubers who were doing their picks as well, yeah, it's like 89% picking the Bears. Again, I think it's like a name thing, but like the Bears haven't looked that impressive, and the Panthers with Dalton in there look good enough to beat the Bears. Like they were hanging with the Bengals, and the Bengals, even despite all their problems, are still better than the Bears are.
Yeah.
I don't like the Bears are not an impressive team to me. I think this is something where the Panthers can actually jump in there and get a win against them. Now again, could this be a game where the Bears finally click and Caleb Williams breaks out and has a big huge game and has like his Jaden Daniels game? Sure, but we haven't seen that yet. And that was the same thing. Like I wasn't picking Washington until Jaden Daniels started playing his game. Like when the Commanders went up to Cincinnati, I was like, oh, this is Cincinnati's get-right game. Washington, even against that terrible Giants defense, couldn't score a touchdown. They were just all field goals, and they didn't look anything like that. Now we've had 2 straight weeks of Jaden Daniels being the guy, and you'll see how quick that narrative changes if everybody's like, oh, okay, Commanders, that's the way to go. All right, so Chicago has to show that first before we're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, Caleb Williams, oh, he's got everything, he's the guy. We're gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm with you on that one. I think we're going with the Panthers. Next one is the Ravens and Bengals. This one was razor thin for me. This was razor thin because this is a game historically that the Ravens, and I don't mean just the Bengals, I mean just having a division game or what you would consider kind of like a biggish road game after a big win that they've already had is where they will fall flat on their face, and we get very inconsistent Ravens. We get inconsistent team Ravens, get inconsistent Lamar, inconsistent defense, and they don't play well, and that's kind of been the history of them. If they can beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, who, again, their defense is struggling, they haven't quite clicked yet. They got a win down in Carolina the other week, so maybe that was part of their get-right situation. But still, the Panthers put 20 up on that defense, which if you're, a defense, I know they're a little bit better with Andy Dalton, but you don't want to give up 20 points to the Panthers. So I think that's still a worry there. And, of course, if Derrick Henry can perform like he did on Sunday night. So that's why for now I am going with the Ravens on the road. But boy, if they lose this game, I might be permanently off that Ravens bandwagon for the year, no matter how many other games they win in a row or doing like that. To me, this is a big, pivotal game for them. Week 5 or not, I think this is an absolute pivotal game for the Ravens. But I do pick them.
So, I mean, most of those points I do agree with. As far as I go, I'm not saying I'm all in on the Ravens now, but I think the Ravens finally figured out how to run their offense with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and just the Bengals. I think they're done. I think their season's done.
I would not go that far. I would not go that far.
Their one win is against the Panthers.
Okay, but
they lost to the Patriots.
It's a long season. Yeah, but you're talking about like listen, it's a long season. Yeah, and yes, 0-3 is a hard hole to get out of, giggity. But you can. Like and they've done it before with their slow starts. I don't think they've ever quite been 0-3. But they've had the slow starts before. And listen, the Ravens are 2-2. They're only a game behind the Ravens. They win this game, they're tied with the Ravens.
Yeah.
They win this game, they're tied with the Ravens in the division. With the Steelers having a game against the Cowboys coming up on Sunday night, which they can lose. I think we'll get to that game in a little bit, but they can lose that game. And if they lose that game, then they're only a game behind the Steelers. So you're talking about a case here like, oh, you're saying the Bengals season's done. If they win this game, they're right fucking back in it.
But the Ravens have been, even though their 2 losses haven't been that impressive, overall, I think they've been more impressive than the Bengals. If I'm comparing those two
No,
teams,
they absolutely haven't, but they've also been inconsistent. Again, they had a huge lead against the Cowboys and almost lost that game. It
that I put
looked
on the
like
head
it
coach
might have
though.
been going that way against the Bills, and then the Bills decided to do that dumbass trick play, and
Yeah,
that kind of killed their momentum. So we'll never know. But again, they had a big lead on the Raiders at home, lost that. They had like we mentioned about the Cowboy game where they had that and they lost. They had the game against the Chiefs team, who we're seeing now not playing the best. And again, Travis Kelce didn't have a good game that game on opening night or anything like that. And granted, it came down to a toenail, but
yeah,
uh, you still allowed yourself to be in that position where you're trying to say you're going to make that jump. This is going to be the year where you make that leap. The Ravens, outside of the Buffalo game, haven't really been that impressive. And I think that's a little bit of recency bias that we're looking at with Derrick Henry and the performance he had, the 200-yard game and looking good. Because that's the other thing too, is like yes, Derrick Henry had a great game, but everybody else was like, it was okay. It was an okay game.
yeah,
Derrick Henry was the big difference on Sunday night. And granted, the Bengals defense isn't that great as of
yeah.
yet. So, but if they happen to stop Derrick Henry, or Derrick Henry doesn't have that big of a game, and you put the game back on Lamar's shoulders,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I mean. So, is it possible? Yes, I do have the Ravens, but if they lose this game, I might say fuck them the rest of the year. Like that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. Speaking of the Ravens' opponents, on Sunday night, the Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans. Again, boy, we're in kind of fucking lockstep here so far, as I've noticed. What do we got here? We both got the Bills over the Texans. Why? Again, a lot of people are now. Again, it's only 35% of the people are picking them on the picks here, which is something. But what is your reason for not being big on old Houston? Where they're going to be wearing those goofy ass fucking H helmets in this game too. So that's just something else to fucking think about. But
Yeah. I just strictly picked the Bills because they're one spot above the Ravens on my power rankings just to piss you off.
so dumb, so dumb.
No, but I mean, other than their one loss, and I saw today, this morning on Good Morning Football, Peter Schwarber
Schrager. Jeez, how do you
Schrager?
not know these people's names? Come on, get with it, Jimbo.
was talking about how Josh Allen with Stephon Diggs, his stats, and Josh Allen without Stephon Diggs this year, and he's actually having a career year. All his numbers are higher than they were than when they had Stephon Diggs. I think the Bills are playing a little bit less stressful because of Stephon Diggs, the offense, because gotta get him ball, gotta get him ball, gotta get him ball. Whereas Houston, they're not in a sophomore slump, but it kind of seems like they took a step back as compared to last year. Now it could be the tougher schedule. Maybe Stephon Diggs, maybe they're trying to force him the ball, so it's kind of throwing the offense off a little bit. But I just think the Bills are a step or two better than Houston as of right now. So that's why I took the Bills.
I've had a question about Houston's defense, even going into preseason, even last year. Like I think that's a part of them. Like this is the thing I think people forget because they had such quick and instant success last year is that they are still a rebuilding team. This is only their coach's sophomore year. This is the second year they've had this coach. This is their second year of C.J. Stroud. They were rebuilding after the Billy O'Brien years and Lovie Smith and all of that. Like they're doing this is still an organization that got rid of like their GM, they got rid of their preacher man for some reason. I don't know why they even had him there to begin with, but like they cleaned house and there's like so this idea that they were supposed to be this top tier AFC team was like no, give them a chance to grow and to breathe, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that, and also angry Josh Allen. That's why.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's why I'm picking the Bills here. Angry Josh Allen. That Bills team's they're not going to have another poor performance. Not two in a row, and that's why. And also, I don't like those Houston H helmets. I don't like them. Oh, H Town, we're H Town. It looks like ass. It looks like shit. All we wanted was something that kind of looked like the Oilers. I know that the Titans are gonna, sue you or something, or Amy Adams Strunk is being very mean about, we're the Oilers and fuck Houston or whatever. But like you did sneak the baby blue in there. You could still kind of do it a better way than whatever you decided to do, because that looks like shit. So honestly, just for the helmet and the goofy ass uniforms, going Buffalo. The next game, pretty self-explanatory. Jaguars suck. Although the Jaguars fucking own the Colts.
That's true.
This is a team that could have went to the playoffs 2 years ago, and on the last day of the year, all they had to do was beat a very bad Jaguars team, and they lost.
Yep.
And if you remember, I know Pat McAfee talks about it all the time, is like that was the game where the fans came to the stadium dressed as clowns, making fun of Shad Khan and the management, saying that they were clown town, as Pat would say in his Pittsburgh accent. So we both picked the Colts. The Jaguars suck. But if there's ever going to be a chance for the Jaguars to win, it's going to be against the Colts and their bugaboo team, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars. But we both have the Colts there. Yeah. Next game, Dolphins Patriots. This one's just going to be a rough watch. That's all.
Yeah.
But I think in general, it's weird to say this already in week 5, but the Patriots are probably a better team at this moment than the Dolphins are. And you're talking about a team that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Achane on it, but the Dolphins are a mess from clearly all the injuries they have. Obviously, the Tua injuries. The quarterback room is in fucking shambles. They don't have any idea what's going on there. Their defense isn't playing well. And the Patriots, for all their problems on defense and offensive line and everything like that, Jacoby Brissett has been okay. And listen, they were able to get a win in Cincinnati. It was their only win, but they were able to do that. They're at home. Listen, and the Patriots also gave the Seahawks all they could handle. And now that we've seen kind of the Seahawks are kind of that team. They went toe-to-toe with the Lions very well. So like that almost seems like, and it's the NFL, there's only wins and losses. But that did kind of seem like a good loss, if there was one, for the Patriots. At least if you're looking for growth and, this team actually can be something. So that's what I mean. That's why I'm going with the Patriots on this one. It's two bad teams, but I think the Patriots at this moment in week 5 of 2024 is slightly less bad.
The only thing I'll add to this, just to show you how bad this game has the potential to be. Kirk Cousins' game last night,
508 yards, yes.
508 yards passing, is more passing yards in one game than what Jacoby Brissett has on the year.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not great. Like I said, I'm not saying the Patriots are fucking world beaters here, but that Dolphins team is in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest with each other. Next game, Deshaun Watson is just horrendous.
Yeah.
As a human being, as a quarterback, just not good. And I don't know what else we can really say about this. Jaden Daniels, we thought, maybe that Monday night game against Cincinnati was a fluke. Maybe it was just a bad defense and he played well or anything like that. Nope. Went to Arizona, put up even more points, more numbers, looks good. And now he's got to go up against this Browns. And listen, that's the thing. The Browns defense is supposed to be their saving grace. That's supposed to be, everything else might suck, but at least their defense is good. And they have not played well at all.
No.
They let the Giants put 3 fucking touchdowns on them. I'm a Giants fan. I love the Giants. I'm glad we won that game. But your team got an early gift, 7 points in that game against the Giants, and then you still lost.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And now that Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin have kind of built this very good relationship that they have now. If they're clicking against this Browns team and Deshaun can't get anything, I think the only real question here is not who's going to win and lose. I think the Commanders are going to win. Washington Football Team of Redskins Commanders. By the way, check out the new Washington Football Team of Redskins Commanders merch in our merch store. Link is below in the description. I think the only question is, does Deshaun Watson get benched during this game or after this game? Do the Browns have the balls to say, we cannot win with you? No matter how we think about it and how much we want things to go, we will be a better team, a more competitive team, and have a better chance to win with Jameis eating W's, Winston on the sideline, calling this team and calling this offense than Mr. $230 million guaranteed. And if they have to eat that money, they have to eat that money. And maybe that's because I think, believe it or not, I think it's Jimmy Haslam coming from up on high, telling Stefanski, we're paying him, you start him.
Yeah.
But at some point, even if you're Jimmy Haslam, you have to realize you're going to have to eat that money because this guy is just not good.
Yeah.
In many aspects, he's just not good.
I think if Deshaun isn't benched after halftime, he will not be benched at all this year. This
Depending on how he plays,
like
if he actually puts together a decent hand for football, which is a fucking long shot, if he has another very poor performance at halftime, or even like I said, I'll do a little bit more grace period. Like if he has another bad game, I'll give it to the end of the game, and then maybe sometime next week they'll say we're starting, we're going to start Jameis instead.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then you know that the decision's coming from Haslam himself, saying we're paying him, you start him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But boy, how funny would it be if again they're playing they're playing the Washington Football Team of Redskins Commanders. He can't get anything going on offense. They suck. Washington wins. So the Browns lose to the Cowboys. They lose to the Giants. They lose to Washington. And they say, all right, screw this. It's time to put in Jameis Winston. They put in Jameis Winston the week they played the Eagles. And he plays well, beats the Eagles. And the Eagles are the only NFC team East that loses to the Browns. Holy shit. I want that chaos. That's what I want. It's not even the fact that I'm going to be anti-Eagles, because I am anyway, clearly, because I'm a Giants fan. But, oh my God, the amount of chaos that would be caused in the city of Philadelphia if that happens, like, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Please let it happen that way. Oh.
By that point, that won't happen. The Eagles will win that game because Nick Sirianni will be long gone by then. And Big Dom will get his first win against the Browns there.
Dude, I want that to happen so bad. Now, you want to talk about a real Friday forecast? I want that to happen so badly.
I will say this. If Sirianni is still coaching for that game and he loses to them, Jeffrey Lurie better just sell the fucking team. Because then he's part of the problem too.
Oh, I want that so bad. I want that so bad. Next up, Raiders Broncos. To me, this is another kind of coin flip there. Yeah, the Broncos are 2-2. They did win a game. They had a very impressive win against Tampa Bay. If we're looking at it in the rearview mirror, kind of how they handled business with Tampa Bay, who put up 33 or more than that on the Eagles, and did the same with the Falcons. Put up 30 on the Falcons last night. So offensively, the Buccaneers' really only bad game was against the Broncos for some reasons. Any given Sunday kind of situation, but they technically won last week, but nobody really won that game. That was horrendous against the Jets there at the big AC in East Rutherford. The Raiders, they got a win last week. No Devontae Adams. We know all the drama circling around them. It's the Raiders. It's always going to be fucking drama around the Raiders. Only 26% of the people picking the Raiders, but you and I, we're amongst that 26%, Jimbo. Again, it feels like a coin flip. They are playing in Denver. Denver is where... This is the part where I might change my pick because Denver's wearing the sweet throwback uniforms. Just the ones that they should have when they updated their uniforms this past year. This is what I was hoping they were going to do. Maybe just modernize the D and Bronco logo a little bit, but go back to those colors. And of course, they did it. They went to like a bad Chargers copy. But all these, as a uniform nerd, you can hear I'm getting turgid just thinking about it. It's oh, dude, they're so good looking. I love those uniforms. So part of me almost wants to change it. But again, Bonix hasn't played well. There's a lot of issues on that team. The same with the Raiders. Let's be honest. But I for some reason it just I'll sprinkle a little Minshew magic on there. I guess is what I'm basically saying. It's hard to analyze this game because I think both teams are not great. So
to me, it's like you said, both teams have issues. It's just which team has lesser of the issues, and that's the better team. That's kind of basically why I picked the Raiders.
Hey, we got our first difference. We got our first different pick.
Go figure. I'm taking the Niners.
The Arizona Cardinals going up to Santa Clara, which is about 60 miles outside of the San Francisco Bay Area, to take on the Santa Clara San Francisco 49ers. And you have the Niners. I've got the Cardinals. Jimbo, why'd you pick the Niners in this game?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Brock Purdy, he's an elite quarterback. Throws for 500 yards every game.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I don't see now I feel like you're being facetious. Now I feel like
does
you're just
everything. He just puts the team on his shoulders.
Something tells me you're not being genuine.
No, now I'll be genuine. From what I've seen the past couple of days, Brandon Ayuk has the right shorts on this time. So I get a kick out of that video too.
That's
but no, okay. So being serious now, even with the injuries to the Niners, I think they're still slightly better than the Cardinals. Like with the injuries, if they had the full squad there, this would be a no-brainer, I think. But Arizona, just that Bills game, and I think that I forget who they played in the second week. To me, that was the only two good games that they were impressed me with. The other two, they were just they're okay, So I just think the Niners are a better team right now than the Cardinals.
The 49ers struck me a lot like the LA Rams right now. Two very, very injured. We're very injured. Two very injured teams. I mean, the 49ers are... I think Fred Warner said he is going to be good to go for the game after being injured last week as well, which is just what the Niners needed, another goddamn injury. So I think that they are dealing with a tremendous amount of injuries. They're not playing as well as maybe we thought they would, and maybe that's another reason why they don't have a lot of chemistry together, because people haven't been able to play together because everybody's goddamn injured. Ayuk has not performed up to the contract that he held out for. So that's another thing to think. Now, Juwan Jennings has played well.
Yes.
In the absence of everybody else being injured. He has stepped up his game. So he's played well. Brock Purdy is still playing well, despite your, backhanded comments. He is playing well.
What did I say?
The Cardinals... again, they're 2-2, but there's if there's a time to strike the Niners, it's now.
Yes.
And I think if the Cardinals, you have to look at that. Kyler Murray has been playing better this year than he's played in a couple of years. I think we can all agree on that. Actually, since he probably got his new contract, this is the best he's played since getting off his rookie contract. They have Marvin Harrison Jr., who is now, after the first game in Buffalo, where I believe he only had one target, he is now very much a part of and a big part of this offense. They are playing well. That defense does have a little bit of question marks. Clearly, when they got mollywopped by Washington last week, 42-10. I think it was 42-10, 42-13, something like that. A lot. They lost by a lot.
Yeah.
But then again, you got to think, just the week before, they were doing the same thing to the Rams. And again, the Rams remind me a lot of the Niners as far as just being injured, having a lot of injury problems. And again, I think this is, if you're going to strike, this is the time to strike. And to me, it feels like a little bit of recency biases. You see only, 4% of people are picking the Cardinals. But I think that's because they saw how bad they lost to Washington last week, and it's like, oh well, that's and San Francisco played well against the Patriots, but I think we can all both agree that Washington, at least offensively, is a lot better than the Patriots are.
Yeah.
With Jaden Daniels, I don't call this one of those games, one of those feeling games. I just feel it.
Okay.
And again, I won the picks last week. I won the group chat picks. I won the King Cup picks. So for that week,
you changed them after
we have it documented. I can't change shit. It's there. We see it.
You're good at the graphic stuff. So
I finally got 10 wins though. Thank God. After having 5 wins each, I'll tell you what. The one that surprised me was Robin, because Robin's actually in a pay league for picks, and she only got 5 picks last week. That's not good.
Oof.
That's not good. Pick better, Robin. Although she also picked the Buccaneers last night, so she's not off to a great start either. Not everybody's off to a great start here on this week. The next game is Packers-Rams. We both have the Packers, and I think that's kind of the same reasons that I was talking about with the Niners. They're very injured. They do have a lot of problems like that. The Packers, in the second half, after being down 28-0, them coming all the way back, outscoring the Vikings 29-3 for the remainder of that game. They flipped everything back on its head. They just missed out on pulling off one hell of a comeback. If their kicker could actually kick a goddamn field goal, they would have been a lot better. But I think, in general, I think that's the thinking between us, is that the Packers and Jordan Love seemed to he shook whatever rust he had off in that game against the Vikings early on. Played a lot better. The Packers played a lot better in that second half, and they should be able to go to LA and beat a very injury battered Rams team.
Yeah, I agree.
Next, do we even have to fucking cover this game? Jesus Christ!
I mean, Daniel Jones, he'll throw 500 yards up, and Thibodeau, he'll have about 4 or 5 sacks.
Listen, the Giants are going to get fucking... The Giants have less in this game than the Cardinals do in the 49ers game, which I can't believe that people think the Cardinals have, even close to the same... The Cardinals, I think, have a much better chance of beating the Niners than the Giants do of the Seahawks. Especially now that we know Malik Neighbors is out. Devin Singletary is listed as doubtful, so he's probably not going to play with a groin issue. So Daniel Jones, who has been playing better, doesn't have his number one target and doesn't have his number one running back behind him against the Seahawks team that maybe defensively still has some issues that they have to worry about. But when you're playing an offense that's bordering on anemic and has poor play calling from Dayball, and then, again, you take away Neighbors, you take away your top running threat.
This has potential for Daniel Jones to get murdered.
I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to get murdered. I'm not saying they're going to murder him, but the Giants are going to be murdered. This has a chance to be a 21-point or more loss here for the Giants. This has a chance to be an absolute blowout, a slobber knocker, a mollywhopping, if you will, which is one of my favorite words. I don't know if anybody's picked up on that. I love when somebody beats somebody else. Oh, they crushed him. Oh, they murderlated him. Oh, they annihilated him. Nope, fuck that. You know what they did? They fucking mollywhopped him. Bringing it back. I'm bringing back mollywhop, baby. Sunday night, Cowboys, Steelers. We both got the Steelers. Jimbo, explain yourself.
So even though Steelers lost last week, they have been impressive every game. The offense, Justin Fields is doing what he needs to do, just enough, and not turning the ball over. And that defense is playing really well, like they've played in the past. Cowboys, on the other hand, it was the Giants first off. The refs helped the Cowboys, let's be honest. They really haven't, other than the first game of the season, they really haven't shown me like that.
Yeah, but who did they play in the first game of the season?
I forget now.
They played the fucking Browns.
So, yeah.
So that's, you're talking about, the first game was impressive. They played fucking Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, but they still put up, 45 or so? Like,
no, No,
It was a.
no, it was 20 something to 3 or something. I think. Like it
See.
was not anything. It was not anything great from what I remember. Let me see. But either way, continue while I look this up.
But like Dallas just has not, and this is not just me being an Eagles fan. They just haven't impressed me at all. Yeah, 33-17.
Yeah, so yeah, not 40. Yeah, so
Yeah, I was close. Only a touchdown away.
what?
But that's all it boils down to is they haven't been impressive to me. Really, all they have is CeeDee Lamb. The Ezekiel Elliott hasn't really contributed like they were hoping. And as far as, like I said, the Steelers, I just think they're gonna have a bounce back game now. So that's why I took the Steelers.
Steelers defense. That's why. Plus, Micah Parsons is out. DeMarcus Lawrence is out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
You have two of your biggest defensive keys are out, and your defense has kind of been lately anyway. So you take those two pieces out, which means Justin Fields doesn't have to worry about having two people trying to murder him on every play. And he's been improving every week and being more part of the offense and contributing instead of just not fucking up. He's been actually contributing to the Steelers. And again, that Steelers defense, they're at home. It's going to be a long night for Dak, I think. It's going to be a long night for Dak. And I think the Steelers go ahead and take this one as well. And it's America, the people who are picking here, you got 61% on the Steelers, which is surprising because it's the Cowboys. I figured there would honestly be more people on the Cowboys. The fact that it's only a 60-40 split is pretty interesting from that aspect. It means that even Cowboys Nation is like, maybe not this game.
Yeah.
And Monday night, hey, we only had 2 different picks this week. We gotta start picking different.
And the one thing we do last year and this year compared to years in the past, we don't really talk about
No.
the games anymore.
No.
We just keep it to ourselves, and then Friday comes, boom, here we are.
Save it for the show, as they say.
Exactly.
And here we are. And well, this one I have the Chiefs at home in Arrowhead, even though I think this is going to be a very close game. And the Saints can absolutely win this game. Don't get me wrong. I'm still a proponent of the Chiefs is the Chiefs until they're not the Chiefs. And currently, even though they're not playing well, even though they're, Travis did play a little bit better in the last game, and they got an injury to Rashid Rice. He's going to have to be hobbling now when he goes ahead and steals people's packages with his mama from other people's porches in front of their doors. They're seriously hurting. I obviously said Pacheco, the little ball of hate, is still out. Although I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back, I believe, cleared to practice with them, and he's practicing with them again. So there's something there. And Kareem Hunt is with them. So there's, it's not great, but it's something. Patrick Mahomes, again, not playing well, thrown a lot of interceptions so far this year. Has not been Mahomes-like except for the moments. And, he had that nice throw to Xavier Worthy in the last game where Worthy made a great catch on a great throw with one arm being held by him. So they're still dangerous. They can still win. They're going to be at home with that loud crowd. Again, if there's a time to strike for the Saints, this is the game. They can absolutely go in there. They can absolutely win. But I'm going to defer to my number 1 overall team in my power rankings. I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but they definitely can lose this game. Jimbo, you got the Saints. Explain yourself.
You kind of touched on it. The Chiefs haven't played that well. I won't bring up who has helped them the most, but Saints offense, other than the Eagles game, have put up 20-plus points a game. I just, it feels like this Chiefs team is like how they were last year. They were kind of slow last year. We kind of almost wrote them off in a way. I think it's gonna be another rough game, and I just have this feeling that this is the game the Saints bounce back after two back-to-back losses, and this is the
very close
game
losses, by the way. Very close losses.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing, though. They lost to the Falcons 26-24. I think I just looked at.
Yeah, Younghoe Koo with the last second field goal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he couldn't do that at Notre Dame, but here as it
well
may,
at Notre Dame. That's why he was. You know how hard it is for a kicker to get drafted. He got drafted because he was a good kicker. So stop with that.
I guess that whoever the GM was must have been drunk when he did it. I don't know who I hate more, him or Taylor Swift.
What is?
But the Saints.
Why do you hate Younghoe Koo so much? Leave that man alone.
But yeah, that's pretty much why I just have this feeling that this is the game that the Saints get back a win here, and the Chiefs suffer their first loss of the season, but the rest will figure out a way to make that a win for them.
Fuck up. I don't know what's the weirder random hatred of a player. Is it yours of Younghoe Koo, or is it of my sister-in-law Robin and her inexplicable hatred of Matthew Stafford? She hates that man so much, and I don't know why. She's never explained it. She's never explained it in a group chat. She's never explained it to anybody. I've gone over her house plenty of times. Obviously, sister-in-law. I was like, "What is your deal?" I just don't like him. I don't like him. I didn't like him when he was in Detroit. I don't like him now, and I'll never. Okay, but why? No, I don't like him. I don't like his wife. I don't like anything.
Well, I could understand that part of it.
I want to know. There's got to be something deep seated there. Like, did she experience some kind of deep personal trauma while watching the Lions or something, or did she lose a bet? Like, was she mugged on the street and somebody wearing a Stafford jersey? There's got to be something. There's got to be a trigger. There's got to be some kind of nucleus, villain creating event there that has created the hatred for Stafford. I don't know what it is. I know, just from being in the bar with you watching Notre Dame games, that you just every time he missed a kick, you hated this guy. So it was it just became your thing. And every time he made a kick, you were like, "Oh, all right, well, he finally made one." It's like he's made most of them. He's missed 2 kicks in his entire Notre Dame career. No. Yeah, but you should have missed those. You should have missed those. He's such an asshole.
At least you know my reasoning for it.
But there we go. That is our picks for Week 5 here in the NFL, baby. We are already at Week 5, man. Things are moving. Things are moving. Things are shaking here. And again, last week I was glad to get back on track. At least stop having bad weeks. I finally got double digits. Got the win for the week. Got 10 wins. So 10-6 for last week. I forgot to look what the total would be. What I have, I'll get all that calculated later on and do all that and see what our records are currently against each other and against all our other group chat people.
There you go. So it goes by points, right? So the points are your wins.
Yeah, that's how many you won. Yeah.
So I got 32 points, and
32 wins.
You have 29 points.
29 wins. Yes. I know on the top right now is the wife. Yes. Peppa Jack, along with, I believe it's my brother.
Yes.
So those two are still on top there with, I think they have 37. So
and
I'm 8 back.
You forgot to put the asterisk next to.
There's no asterisk. There's no asterisk.
Because of that tiebreaker.
No, listen. The tiebreaker was done by the pick people. I didn't make it. That's how they did it. Because they both decided to pick the same tiebreaker points, so it went with who won who actually won the pick for Monday night, and if not, it would have went back, I guess, until whatever other games there were. But that's not me. That's not me. Don't put that shit on me. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. If you like what you watched here, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, and subscribe. Helps us out a bunch. Our goal is to get to 100 subscribers. That was our goal for the end of the season, and right now we're only 4 away. Yeah. You can help us get there.
We're 97 right now.
We're 97.
Yes.
You guys are helping us out so much every single day. I love it. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart here at Stay Tuned Sports. We can't tell you how much we appreciate everybody who's subscribing to us, especially here in the early days of what we're doing. Again, we have our link for our donation station and our merch store down in the description if you want to go check that out. Donation right now, our current leader in the clubhouse is Bryce. He's donated $5. If you donate more than $5, you get your name in the ticker. It'll be there. It's cool. I don't know if that's exactly a perk, I think it's a perk.
I mean,
You get
once
recognized.
Once it's on the internet, it's there forever.
It's there forever, baby. It's there. Until the sun explodes and swallows the earth, it'll be there. So you can go ahead and do that. Merch store, new merch coming in all the time. Again, we have a brand new Washington football team of Redskin Commander shirt in there. We have a bunch of the 8-bit helmets. They're coming out as well. Got a Seahawks one and a Packers one. They're going to be coming out as well. Got a lot of Giants, Jets, Eagles stuff in there, obviously because of just who we are here. So more stuff being added all the time. You want to go in there and check that out? That would be great. Link to the Discord down there as well. Jimbo, I think that's it. Any parting thoughts on this Friday forecast before we hit the weekend?
All I'm going to say is, with the Eagles being on a bye week this week, Sirianni, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck up the bye week somehow.
Can the Eagles lose a bye week? We'll see. Dude, I'm so excited for next week just for that Browns game. Dude, if they lose against the Browns, look at me, I'm getting giddy. I'm like a child for Christmas. Oh my God. As a Giants fan, it's like one of the only things I got to look forward to this year is like Eagles misery. Woo! Let's go. But anyway, for your good friend Jimbo right over there, I'm your boy King. This has been Stay Tuned Sports with the Friday forecast. Adios, everybody. Have yourselves a merry little Christmas. No, we're not there yet. We're in Halloween season still, baby. Give me some of those jack-o'-lanterns and diabetic candy.